We'll begin with a minute of silence. And in that, in your own way, offer this course that we're going to undertake, roughly, which is spreading into 2.5 or 3 months. As a consecration to the divine inside your body, the divine inside your heart, and the divine everywhere. Thank you very much. So today, I think in this course, we are following a new format. Normally, what we do is we go for 8 sessions and we just go experiential right from the beginning. But I got a suggestion saying uh, take a session just to set the context, because there are a lot of nuances into what we do, and some of you are repeating, some of you are new. Both ways, I think today we'll just do more like I'll just share a little bit. We'll dialogue, we'll talk. In all other sessions, we don't talk. We go into practice right from the beginning, and I'll explain that later. So first, to set the context of what we're doing here, this course has two possibilities: either healing or um, participating in the evolution of the new species. It's basically, it has both a spectrum, and it depends on us, our aspiration, and the grace. And I'll explain this in a moment. Uh, If you look at some of the people who have done body work, like the Siddhars, Vadalar is one example, Mother and Shribindo is an example that I'm familiar with. There must be a lot more people whom I'm not aware. There are unknown people who are also doing it in unknown ways. What happens is, normally when we come to spirituality, or at least in the past, one looks at going outside, transcending, our mind, our body, our vital, and accessing something which we call as the divine. Um, Now, those who have actually done the work in the body itself, which means you have to integrate everything else, the mind, the emotion, the senses, all that has to be transformed as well. What they discovered was a presence of light, just bringing that as one example. And it is not something that is just esoteric, but it is actually the presence of light inside the body. And if you read Vadalar's case, that was what he had come to. Um, so we are making an attempt over the last, I think, 6, 8 years with different modes. And this is a very direct mode that we take, very experiential. So those of us who want to apply it for healing can apply it, which means the body, the illnesses, even things like the psychological stuff stored inside, memories stored inside. Some of us are sensitive, which means we will absorb stuff from others. I mean, all of us absorb, the degree varies. So all of this, if we think about it, it doesn't change. We need something that can penetrate into the body. And half of it is our sadhana, half of it is grace. It's a combination of the two. or ascent and descent. I'll explain all this in a moment, and we can ask as many questions today. Um, so we need something that can actually penetrate into the body, into the body's. So when people talk about body, for example, Reiki, pranic healing, they have accessed the energetic part of the body, and they've done some phenomenal work there. And then, some people approach it through the chakra system, but many don't enter it through the substance itself. It is the substance that has the magic, actually. Okay, and in a very simple way, this example I always quote in any course is the temple, or the god or goddess of the temple, is actually made of the thick, dense granite stone. That is what is used. That is the medium that is taken. Of course, there are other mediums. This is what is taken because it has actually a great capacity to hold something that is invoked. Our body substance is extraordinary, is far more potent. By nature of habit, the body gets corrupted because of absorption of energetic fields, thoughts of people, our own past. Everything is absorbed by this because the body has the body substance has a sponging nature. So everything keeps going in. So, and everything keeps going out as well. Okay. So it is this faculty that we are working with, the sponging nature. And for this, we need tools, like we need concentration. Now, we don't need a perfect concentration. If somebody has a great degree of concentration, great. But somebody like me, my concentration works very differently. It works in spots, short spurts. Even for those which appears as distraction, I mean, it was in the past, right now it's much better. In the past, it appeared as distraction, but even then I could do very good work because you get distracted, you come back and start. You get distracted, you come back and start. So don't worry about what is your current level of concentration, but you need to use your concentration. One. Two, you need to use your interest. You need to be extraordinarily interested in the body, first of all, to do the work that we're going to explore. What does that mean? We're all interested, for example, in spirituality. I mean, common interest I'm speaking about. Or we are interested in, let's say, having certain experiences, which appear as peace, joy, etc. But we will never be able to go into the depth of the body without worshipping it, without celebrating it, without bowing down to it. Before I got deep into body work, I was in love with flowers. Like I think my love with flowers is now for more than 15 years. I was almost an addict. Every problem, I'll go to a flower. I'll use a flower as essence. It was to that point that I was, deeply in love with flowers. But interestingly, I followed the direct method. I didn't use the textbooks which say that this flower has this meaning. I never used that. I used the method of direct exploration. I'll connect with the flower. I used to eat quite a bit of flowers, which means I'll keep it on my tongue, just one flower on my tongue, and I'll be like it for hours. I used to take a tiny flower, put it on my left hand, hold it in a way that it doesn't get crushed, and work with my right hand for hours. Those are times when I was writing the book and all that. So my relationship with flowers, I'm just giving you the history so that you know how you can enter this journey. I think that was my start point. I learned how to connect not just with the vibrational quality of flowers, but with the substance of flowers. I used to prepare flower essences and stuff like that. And then when it came to body work, my guide told me, Arul, you can never do this work because you're not at all in touch with your body. Okay, I'm a mental guy, in the past. My work nature is also like that. I was an extraordinary student in school. It's for me to come to this, is something like a miracle. But if I share the journey, then it'll become easier for you. So that kind of a person, when I got this feedback from my guide, I didn't know what to do because I was falling in love with the body. And at that time, I was also attracted to Tirumala Tirumandram, some Siddhar books. That was a natural affinity. Even though I didn't understand much of what I was reading, there was a natural affinity. And then mother's agenda opened up. There's a lot of mixed opinions about agenda. People used to scare me. But the moment I started reading, I again fell in love. So my next turn came is I started working with stones. Literally stones, like once I picked a large stone that I got off from the road, kept it in my office. I just used to connect, 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 connect. And then I used to work with crystals also. I work with crystals differently, not the way people use crystals. People normally use a crystal to heal them. I use the crystal to teach the sadhana to the crystal. And it was something that I just intuitively chanced upon. So, for example, if we go inside the body and from the body we connect to the above, we'll do that practice. I taught that practice to the crystal. How? There is no communication, there is no words. But let's say, so for example, there's a crystal here, I work with large crystals because it's easier for me. I put my hand on the crystal, I sense the crystal, and then when I feel the inner connection with the and then I found that the crystal is able to do the practice extremely very well now. And that was my journey. And then I started working with myself, my own body, and I realized that my awareness was less, my sensorial capacity was less. But luckily for me, even before that, I was meeting a lot of people and I was guiding them on an individual basis. So some of them, I was in great rapport. So I said, can we explore body work? I'm just learning, can we explore? I learned from others. So when I shared the process for them and they did it, when they shared back what was happening for them, immediately those faculties opened up for me. It was almost that they blessed back by their sharing. Something started occurring, and by me giving the practice to others and they doing it and sharing back, my faculties opened up, slowly, slowly, slowly. So this is my journey. Why I'm sharing all this is sometimes when people do this course, in the past, I just go into the experience. Some people get it and they share a lot. Some people struggle and they feel disappointed. Actually, you don't have to feel disappointed because lot or less is not the point. You may sense very little inside your body. You may be able to connect very little, but all that does not matter. What matters is we do the practice. There is another phenomenon here. No matter what we do, there is the descent of grace. That is what I said. You can do it for healing or you can use it for, you can participate in the evolution of the body, which means it becomes more light. It becomes more filled with light. It becomes more filled with joy. A body carries a lot of sadness, a lot of disappointments that we have experienced. One of the major disappointments of the body from what emerged in the previous course was the body has been abandoned many times. Even by highly spiritual people, they in the past used to abandon the body. We forget the body. This experience is also ingrained in the body. So the first practice that we all do is, can I stay inside the body? Can I live inside the body? Now, for some, it can be pain. You go inside the body and then there is pain here and there. Uh, Capacity to bear pain is important. And I'll explain it. So for example, I see some people in my office, I run a recruitment firm also, and work is stressful. So many a time I'll go down and I'll see the smell of tiger balm or amrudanjan and all that. So, uh, so which means they are not bearing with that, let's say a headache that is forming, or they're not doing a practice. The It is very important. Yeah, we can take medicines. I also take when needed, homeopathy and stuff like that. They can take what we need, but the body has a great capacity to endure even something like a tooth pain, which I think is one of the most painful experiences to have. The body has a great capacity to bear. We are not bearing to suffer. That's not the point. We should never suffer. I'll explain that. But it is only by allowing the body to give it its scope, which means it can bear that pain so that it can transform it. See, I'm going here and there. If I miss something, we'll put it together. Pain can come because of two reasons. One is there's a problem. Two, there is something extraordinarily good that is forming inside, which the body can't hold. Okay. So pain is obviously an indicator that I go to that part and work. which means there is an illness. Maybe you walked incorrectly, or posture is incorrect, or some illness is forming, you can work there. But for example, once when I was doing a deep work, I had a pain here and somebody was guiding me. Then I went in there, and that was the first experience that I was having, that a temple-like structure inside the body, which is lit. So these are things that emerge from the subconscious. Our subconscious, which has problems, from the same subconscious, new things will emerge. But what was before that was pain, and it was quite strong. So pain can also be because there's something new that is forming in the body. The body is not able to cope with it. And then we need to do our sadhana. So one part is sadhana, and I'll go into more nuances. But the second part is grace, which means that we can never do this work alone. This work is done by a higher force, by a higher light, by a higher joy, by a higher love, as much as we are worthy for it. There's a lot of preconditions here. Purity is one, sincerity is another. And these are not by the moral standards that we look at, but by the truth standards. Okay. So there's a lot of prerequisites. But most of the work is done by the action of grace, right? By calling for it, by opening to it, by connecting the body to the above, by calling the divine, by using a short chant. We will explain all that. By practicing the sound Om inside the body. By doing it, we can never claim that the more sadhana I do, the more I'll be healed. It's not true, actually. We need to be sincere as much as possible. And for some of us, we need to make the practice as a living, which means while we are cooking, while we are working, while we are talking, we need to be in sadhana. For some who are just looking at a little bit of a healing when needed, that is fine. That also is okay. But everything is dependent here on receiving, which means we do the work, we open to the above, and then we are very receptive to something that comes in. Much of it is by what comes in. And here again, there are nuances. Okay. Uh, there is the field of the occult, which I think many of us are familiar with. Okay, the field of the occult, the gods and the goddesses and stuff like that. And then there is a supreme above. So I'm sharing from my perspective. It may feel right to you or not, but I have to be truthful to what my experience is, so I'm sharing. The deeper body work cannot be done by the realm of the occult. Okay, it is not possible. Which means only to some extent that can occur. So if we open the body purely to the domain of the gods and goddesses, it will lock us back into the current scenario, which means the body can evolve only to a certain point. They also need to surrender to the supreme. So that is why I didn't plan it, but just as this course was starting and I was preparing for the course, I picked this book, The Supreme, which I had long back, and I am in love with the book. And I noticed that each line there has a body practice. And there is also a clear clarity that we have to surrender to the Supreme. Okay. We will take that later, but you all follow your own paths. Okay. I myself am extremely fond of the occult, to be very honest. And I think I've been gifted from an earlier birth. I have not been trained in this birth, but everything intuitively comes without me doing anything. But from whatever I've learned over the years, we take support from the occult because we need to bow down to them also. But the primary bowing down is the supreme, in whatever name you call it, which means the original creatrix, the one supreme. And in the same way of looking at it is there is a basic way to do it, there's an advanced way to do it. In the basic way to do it is we are working on our body. In the advanced way to do it is we shift the attitude to this is one body, which is the truth anyway. There's one substance, that this body is of the divine, of the mother, and then we do the work. Okay. So I'll pause here. I can share some more as well, but we'll take any questions, any doubts. So our mind is clear, what we're doing is clear. Any questions to check, anything?
Yes, I have a question, Arul.
Yes.
You said at the end, just now when you were talking, you said like the advanced way to do it. And then you said this, that you'll discover that this is one body.
Yes.
Okay. So do you mean like everything is one body? Are you talking like that? Or I didn't quite understand that.
So there is a separation. So you have a body, I have a body. There is a separation, and you have a group of cells, I have a group of cells, and there is an evolution in this body itself. Okay, but the basis of it, the basis of your body and my body is the same. It's the one substance itself. Now, if you make a progress, it will have an impact on my body. Okay, so now what is occurring is post the lockdown. See, before this, I was doing this work and there was a lot of resistance. I myself was very confused whether what I was doing was right. I used to go through agony. I know it is going correct, but others will criticize and my own guides will confuse me. So I went through all this thing. But post the lockdown, something is magical. Somehow more people are doing this work. It's not just us. There are other communities who are doing it also, and I'm slowly discovering more and more communities who are doing it. As each one does, it becomes easier for the others because we are connected. Like we have an individual mind which is connected to the universal mind. We have we have groups of cells which is you feel as your body and I feel as my body, which is true. Some of us may be purified more, some of us may be contaminated more, which is true because this particular structure is going through that, but the basis is same. The And if we just purely do it on our body, it's like a never ending game. I do, the problem goes, the problem come back. We will, like long back, I had a friend, and the beginning part of my journey, we used to do long sadhana, and she was senior to me. So I'll do a practice sometimes for 2 hours for her, and after a month she'll say, do the same practice for a little bit of jealousy, for example. I said, like, what the heck, yaar? We did that for 2.5 hours. She says, no, 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 little bit is still there. So sometimes the practice itself becomes an addiction, like going in and out. That happens when we are on the surface. So a good degree of this practice, my breakthrough came 3 4 years before when I started becoming more universal. My individual needs came down. My own, you have to individuate first and then universalize. So the more we also open to the oneness of things, then the practice also becomes more deeper. So that's what I meant by that.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Anything? Can you?
Ji, my question is more like a theoretical.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
what I get is that though we have an individual body and then it is connected to the universal matter. So if I suppose that a person works on his own body and he completely get advanced on it, but he continuously that particular body is also connected with the universal. So till the universal is not purified, he is not. That is not an end to it, right?
Correct.
And
That's true.
again, universal is also this body part, matter part is coming from the inconscient. So till the complete inconscient is purified, so it seems to be an infinity, a job of infinity. Is it
That
correct?
that is true.
So that means you are permanently hooked into the this
No.
no?
Not like that. What you're saying is true. There's no doubt about it. But it is not that difficult because, see, this work that I'm going to share with you all, I've seen kids lapping it like left, right, and center. They'll just flip into the experience in a couple of minutes without a problem. Of course, they
Yes.
won't be able to hold it because their families are different and stuff like that. Things are getting better. Yes, the inconscient has to be transformed. And let's just speak individually, coming back to individual, it is extremely important that you are able to go beneath your feet in the body work. Okay. And when you go beneath your feet, you will touch the domain of the collective untransformed. And our feet is constantly absorbing things, whether we are aware or not, it is absorbing the untransformed inside us. So that is the problem that you're saying. Even if I progress, I will pick something back. Okay. However, these qualities are important. I always aspired for neutrality. Okay. And I'll give you the background as well. Once I met somebody, from the Kalari Pait background, Varma Kalai background. He was 80 when I met him. And he used to work with men and women very intimately. Almost he had to work everywhere. And I was stunned because that much of intimacy is difficult, because you have to be extremely neutral. So I asked him, how does he do it? He said he trained from age 4 or 5. I asked him to train me. He said, no, you're old and, all things would already have been formed. It won't come. So I took it as a deep aspiration. I wanted my hand to become neutral, my body to become neutral. I worked on it like that for 8 years before I started, the one-to-one things that I was doing before. So I've always kept this quest of neutrality as important. So in the beginning, say about 15 years before, I used to absorb. So if I help somebody, some of the problem goes into me. So then I did the basic work. See, it is the basic practices that are advanced. Just watching natural breath, which we just touch upon it in the course. I did it for 3 years. Being with the breath, being with the breath, being with the breath. Slowly, my neutrality increased and I stopped absorbing the difficulties of others. It's not that I'm 100%, but it is vague. There's a good degree of progress. So you need to come to that point of increasing neutrality, increasing. So there are two things here. One is basic practices, and the more something fills inside you, even in our mind, even in our body, even in our being, the more something infills, then you become more and more stable. The major breakthrough for me was when I spent 6 months out of an intuition that I was very comfortable going above. I spent 6 months only going below. My entire practice was going below. I used to go below the feet and search, go below the feet and search, go below the feet and search. And then I had some friends who were advanced Reiki people and all that. So I called them over to my office and I said, let's experiment. Half of them shouted at me saying that when you go down, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing darkness and all that. But I knew, intuitively, I knew it was not the case. Then I discovered various zones of sacredness below, various zones. And we will do that exercise also. That shifted everything. You know, it's not that that the unconscious is problematic. In the depth of the unconscious, there is the divine, there is the divine presence, there is a golden substance, for example, that shifts everything. So we need to do our sadhana, and what you're saying is true. The collective also has to get transformed. There is no doubt about that.
So by neutrality, you mean samatha?
Experientially, it would mean that you're not absorbing stuff from outside. Experientially, it would mean that you're not reactive. Experientially, like at the body level, you're not absorbing. At the mind level, you don't, or at the emotional level, you're not getting irritated. You may deal with different kinds of people, but you're able to, be centered. This is what the experience would be.
I have one more question, but I
Yes.
would like to wait for if anybody wants to, because I should not, take somebody else's time.
Now, there's a question, I'll pick it. Can you add some light on pain, especially suffering and endurance? It is a fine line. Okay. So I'll take this. This is a private question that has been put to me. So I'm taking this question. It was in the chat. It's privately sent to me. See, first of all, you say, how do I put it? See, if you do martial arts, they actually teach you to take a low stance. Your standing leg is low. Your entire movement is from a low stance. Okay. It is from a low stance that you can move well. If you are rigid, you won't move well. Okay. Now, the entire body work is done sensorial. If we are truly making progress, the entire body work is done sensorial. The surrender is done sensorial. The awareness is sensorial. The widening is sensorial. The condensing and letting go, the different practices we do is all sensorial. Okay. Now, the difficulty is you won't get the senses because we are so much caught up in our life. We are so much caught up in our outer life that even when we go into the body, the opening the senses takes time. And by the time somebody calls us or, we get busy, but we have to learn to go inside the body and do the entire work sensorially. Now, when there is pain, you have to go inside and do the sadhana. You have to go inside the pain area. And what is happening there? The body and the cells has caught an illness. It's a real problem. Maybe physically it's shown up. It has physically shown up today, but it would have already started, let us say, a day before or 5 years before. If we are aware, we could have caught it then and there, and we could have done the sadhana. That is the power of deeper body work. But if we didn't, it will slowly manifest in the body and it will come to a point where it needs an attention of the doctor, which means it has manifested. Your sadhana has come to a difficult point. The more we do the sadhana at the beginning point, say you're catching a cold, say there is an irritation forming inside your throat, or there's a pain on your knee or your heel, at that point as it is starting, it would be some incorrect thing, and we can do the sadhana combined with, let's say, a foot change or a right posture and all of that stuff. But if it has come to a high manifested point, the work is difficult. The work is difficult because the cells have got used to the problem. Even the awareness inside is looking into the problem. It is feeding into the problem, and thus recreates it. So you need great, that is why at that time, working with somebody becomes easier. If you have another person who can do the body work, if both sit together and both concentrate and do the body work for you, it becomes easier because neutrality comes in. Neutrality is prerequisite for this work. Capacity to penetrate is a prerequisite to this work. So when you have the pain, you're not able to penetrate because going in seems as if the pain increases. That we need to endure. We need to endure, breathe there, chant the Om, and go deeper and deeper and do the practice. Okay. Uh, Endurance does not mean that we don't take action. You would take action as needed, but 80% of the problems can be solved by good practice and opening it to the divine. And for that, we have to be able to endure maybe a little bit longer till the full practice can be done. Like that it is. Yes, Deepa, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Um, so when you mean by, we can heal ourselves at least 80%, right? For those people who are already doing this, I also see some of them live in ashram, practice a lot of sadhanas and other lifestyle things like that, but still they have something coming up in their body. It could be in the brain or heart or something like that. So does it mean that it would not come, or it will come, but the way how we approach would be different? I just need some light on
No,
that.
it's a very sensitive question. So it puts me, I'm just sharing my opinion, and everybody could be right or wrong, and I could be right or wrong in what I'm sharing. And there are two answers to it. Not many of them do deeper body work. Okay. In fact, there's been quite a bit of opposition to what I do also, from pockets here and there. Because for some reason, though Mother and Shri Aurobindo have spoken quite a bit about the body work, many of the Siddhani sadhaks also don't do the deeper body work. For whatever reason, that's not in my capacity to understand. There are people who do, who land up exactly what you're sharing. And my hypothesis is they are imitating the mother's sadhana way too much. See, the mother's body did suffer. If you read the agenda, you will be moved, to see what she endured. Okay. But that need not be the case for us. We are not the mother. We are a simple human being. Okay. She took it for a particular reason and for a particular work that needs to be done. Like I'm now realizing there are a few people who have gone very deep and who are having the exact problems that mother had. And then they're reading the agenda and they're saying it's written here. But to me, it is incorrect because Mother and Shri Aurobindo have done the work. It'll become easier for others. My hypothesis is that you don't have to suffer. Okay. Like there were, this is not the forum to discuss it. Maybe if you want, we can have a private session and I will explain because it may not be of interest for others. But several experiences that mother had, the difficulty, people are unconsciously mimicking it. And you need to have that faith that says it need not be the case. Okay, and my experience or hypothesis is it would not be like that, but people are imitating, and thus that phenomenon is also occurring. This is how I understand it. Yeah. But if you want more, let's speak privately. And yeah. Anything else before we go? Any questions at all? Yeah. Yes, Rekha.
Yeah. So, yeah, Arul, you have mentioned about grace, right? Like, grace is also one of the important uh, part of this exercise, right? The universal grace, etc. In fact, in many such discussions, yeah, probably I've had with the different people, so I understand that it has a lot to do also like our good deeds in the past, and like how the so that makes it easier probably in this birth for a spiritual development. And such things I have heard in different kinds of discussion with different people. So then I realized that gaining that grace seems to be also an important part of our endeavor. So how do we get the grace? I mean, looking at it.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. There are two questions, and I'll answer. Again, everything I'm sharing from my perspective, and my perspectives may differ from others. And I'm being open about it. And I have to be truthful to what I realize. And I'll just speak my truth as I understand. If I'm wrong, I will evolve further. Okay. In the regular path of spirituality, karma is true. Karmically, I've done this mess in my past or in my current lifetime. Karma is true. Karma has to play out. Okay. And thus things, which is true in a particular way. But it is not true from the aspect of grace. The aspect of I have to gain grace itself is wrong, actually. See, grace has this freedom. It can put you into more agony or it can take you and liberate you. It is the choice of the grace. My job is to, I see the human being, unfortunately, we have a gift called choice. It's an unfortunate gift, the way I put it. Unless you choose, nothing is going to occur. Okay. And when you choose, even the gods and goddesses cannot do anything because your human choice is that powerful. Most of our choices are happening at an unconscious level, at a level of given up on life. I myself have had this big problem, except in the last 2 years. I'm much better. There are several times I give up on life, and thus unconsciously I make big messes. Last 2 years, I'm much better. I'm much more safer. Okay. We are always choosing. Choose the divine is what surrender and grace means. It has to be in thought. It is not as simple as, oh, mother, you take care. You see, there's a lot of quote yogas that occurs. People just share quotes here and there. That doesn't mean that we are surrendering. Even calling the mother does not mean that we are surrendering. Surrendering is an action. Okay. Choosing the divine is surrender, which means when you're, for example, doing your exercise or you're living your day, what are you thinking inside your head? Are you thinking of the problem? Are you thinking of the person you dislike? Or are you thinking of the person you love? Or actually, you are thinking of the divine a bit more? Choosing the divine is seeking for grace. In my thought, in my emotion, whom are you primarily connected with, either with love or hatred? Okay. Now, can that connection be a choice of the divine? When the body is suffering, can I go inside the body and turn? We'll speak about this. We'll have to turn the body's awareness to point to the above. This is calling for grace. Like in the old, I mean, I grew up at those times, there's these comics, I think Phantom comic or whatever. When Phantom is needed, they'll send a symbol up into the sky. Now Phantom knows that, people are calling and he'll go there and act, so the grace is you have to choose the divine in an extremely concrete way. How you keep your room matters. How you keep your room matters. Is there a unattended object in your room? Something that you're not using? No, that will spoil the energy. So much of detailing is there, so that choice of the divine is seeking for grace. Now, if the grace decides to touch you, all your karmas can be given up. In fact, to be honest with you, your past has to be erased. It's extremely important. That is why, see, I can't do that in this course. I did that as a separate course. I do it in the retreats. Memory transformation is very important. You may remember your life, but the charges of it cannot be inside you because it'll eat you up from your subconscious. Okay. So if you are doing your own work, which means that, you're transforming your memories and you're sincere, the error you should not repeat. That is obvious. We should not keep doing the same errors and thus explain and thus expect that there is going to be grace. That's not the point. But if we are sincere, if we are learning and we are opening up, then the thinking of karma is incorrect. We should not believe in karma. We should believe in grace, which means when the grace acts and in this moment, something is given, Now it is your sincerity. Can I hold it? Can I be in sadhana? Can I live with that? Can I speak from that? Can I express that? Will be our attempt.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
There's
thanks.
a lot of mess that is going around with this karma business. Okay, so that itself brings a certain cause and effect thinking. Again, those who want to go deeper have to move away from cause and effect thinking. I eat an ice cream, I'm going to get a cold. It's a cause and effect thinking. Like that, we have lots of cause and effect thinkings, very, very subtle and minute. Cause and effect thinking is a problem in the body work. It's all in the moment. It's all in the moment. And the next moment again, I have to be aligned. The next moment again, I have to be aligned.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Just
Yeah.
one question.
Yes.
Can I
Yes.
ask?
Yeah.
So,
Deepa.
so when you say cause and effect should not be the way that we need to look at, like that cause and effect would have been coming from the past pattern, right? Like
Correct.
when I eat
Correct.
ice cream, I got cold for 10 times.
Correct.
And
Correct.
that's why now that belief is coming up.
That has to be cut
Okay.
by sadhana.
So is it not reading your body that your body is not liking it, the body is not asking for it, or it is rejecting it, and that's why we are not supposed to? Is it not
Okay.
listening to the body?
Okay, it is true in one way. What you're speaking is true in one way. So my body, whenever it eats ice cream, it falls ill. So this particular body has a tendency to that. So I honor it. That is correct.
Hmm.
That is correct. And even now, for example, when you eat, the body will tell you what you want to eat. Do that.
Hmm.
But the memory that, you ate ice cream and then you fell ill has to be erased. Otherwise, there is a combination of two things. Even as the body evolves, this current is playing as a pattern, which need or need not be true. See, that's what I said. The agenda depends on what you're addressing. If you're looking at true evolution, then this has to be dropped and checked in reality. If in this particular moment your body says don't want, then that's fine. But this should not be there. The current of the past should not be there. It's a lot of work. It's not easy, but it is possible.
Okay.
I have a question to go along with that. So as part of giving up the past, surrendering to grace, letting the divine lead, lots of things can come up: cause and effect, karma, ideas of karma, also past connections with occult processes. And do those need to be released as part of the sadhana to become fully present in the body work? Because Mother was very, she had a connection to the occult. So how does that fit in? Is that something that needs to be worked through and released if that comes up as part of the journey?
Okay, so this is again a sensitive and a deeper question, and I'm sharing it from my perspective. I could be right, wrong, and you look at it, each of you look at it from your perspectives. One should be free from the occult influences for sure. There's no doubt, but it's not easy. In fact, you should be. I think that it's like the key to it is given when you're familiar with it, when you're comfortable with it. And then when you want to be free, it is graced. Okay. In my own case, I had to pray to somebody to allow this to occur to me. And interestingly, very intuitively, I prayed to the eyebrow center of a human being whom I know. And immediately I am getting more and more free from the occult, because for me, the occult actually has a major grip on me, okay, over the years, and in a positive way, actually. But still, at some point, I choose to go beyond. So you will find your own ways. But first, for that, you need to be eligible, which means that you have to be, treated in that fire. You need to be eligible, and sometimes there are demands, and you need to come to that level of purity and mastery, and then that's possible. Maybe we'll pick this question offline separately because, yeah.
Arul,
Thank
what
you.
exactly are you saying when you say occult?
Gods and goddesses, vital forces. Okay, Manoj, you had a question? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, I am always troubled with this, and that kind of checking my complete faith or a complete involvement in it. That when we do what we mean by body work is we are identifying with the body.
Good question. Okay. So
Okay,
I'll
no, no, I have a question. So
okay.
first of all, I need to know okay, whether we are identifying with the body or what.
Okay.
Then in that case, if we are identifying with the body, and I always find myself that many a times if I am in such a situation, even externally, not in the body, but even externally, I am not on my own able to come out of that. It is constantly, like a Abhimanyu Chakra, like it is happening like me. Unless and until somebody pulls me out. So if body has got a inconscient and there are so many problems also. And if we are going deep into the body, and if I am not on myself, holding on to be able to myself as it is, then I'll be able. I may get trapped into it. And unless and
Okay.
until you got the point, right?
I
I'm
got the
not.
point.
Yeah.
Okay, some
Okay.
I'm going to answer, some I have to speak to you privately. I will
Okay.
do that because some of what you're asking is not tallying. It is not tallying in the truth of the experience. So I'll answer it and then
Hmm.
maybe I'll speak to you separately. First of all, what do we mean by body work and where is the identification? I need to be, if I have to clean my room, I have to be inside my room.
Yeah.
But if I'm
Correct.
identified with the murkiness of this room, nothing changes. I have to open the window. I have to allow the sunlight to come in. I have to allow the breeze to come in. I have to allow beauty to come in. So I'm inside the body, but I'm identified with the divine qualities. To keep it very simple for us, because we can easily say divine and nothing happens, we go with the qualities, light, joy, love, etc. Okay. So I have to be inside the body and have to identify with the divine. Now, this is the sadhana, this is the difficulty. So now there are many layers of the body, the layers of entanglements, the energetic component, the spin of the chakras, for example, or the inconscient layers, or there is pure substance, which is why in any brochure or any conversation I share, I'm a big fan of the pure substance. Okay. Any time any of you start touching the pure substance, you will find your entire life different. Now, what is pure, which is our quest? What is pure substance is the in the body, in every part of the body, there is a spot or there is a portion which has no entanglements. Nothing can touch it. Just as the divine is omnipotent and omnipresent and nothing can touch it. Just like that, inside your own body substance, there is a point, or in every cell, there is a portion which is lit, which is in joy. Okay. Our Your aspiration should be like the scent of a dog. We need to know what we are searching for. So when you go inside your body, you will come across all these things, but you should remember that you are searching for the pure substance. And it has to come experientially and it will come. Okay. The other intermediate, when that comes, the sadhana takes a different turn. But until then, we have to do something. So as we go and we encounter the problems, we turn the cells to the above. Or rather, we turn the awareness of the cells to the above, unto you, Lord. We connect to vastness. Instead of we holding the problem, we allow us to rest on vastness. We allow vastness to come in. We allow the above qualities to come in. So we chant a Om, for example, not mechanically, because inside the Om is a vibration, is a force. We chant and then we wait. Okay. We can chant a mantra, for example, Om or Om or Om Namo Bhagavate. For me, this course title itself, for me, it is working as a mantra. Om, I'm doing Divya Deham or Divya Jyoti. I shall share later a few things. I'm testing it out. Another group is using Om Divya Shanti. I recently heard, and they've been
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
it for years. Okay.
Even I am also aware about that mantra. Om Divya Shanti.
So these actually is inside the body. You're chanting it so that the cells now choose the divine. See, remember the statement I made to Rekha. The cells have to choose the divine instead of choosing illnesses. This is our goal. Okay. So the other part, what you're sharing, I'll speak to you privately because it is not possible to get entangled like that. I'll have to check what is happening to you and I'll do that privately.
Okay, thank you.
There are a few questions here. Okay, so there's a query, there's a private suggestion given to me. How deeper body work is different from Vipassana. So those of you who are familiar with Vipassana, you go into the domain of sensations and you're just with the sensations and just with your sensations. For those who have done Vipassana, body work is a little bit more easier because you already have the capacity to be inside the body, sensorial. But here, that is only the 5% or the 10% of the work. The rest of it comes. You're able to stay inside. You're able to make a choice. You're able to turn the consciousness to the divine. You're able to receive. You're able to act from that. We need to come to a point where you're writing from connection with the body. You're thinking with connection with the body, and you will find your entire life different. Okay. Okay, so that's a good question. Vignesh, is it the psychic being you're referring to as the pure substance? No. Okay. So this is a common misunderstanding even that is occurring with some of the senior sadhaks when they keep hearing what we're doing. Psychic is what is referred as the deeper heart. It's the divine presence behind the heart. Now, the same phenomenon, it is similar. The same phenomenon is there in every part of your body. See, you have to aspire for it. So, which means that when I say pure substance, I mean the medium now is substance. Let's first understand this. When I say divine light, the medium is different. The medium is light. Okay, the medium is light. When I work with the vital energies, there is prana, there is breath. Now the medium is different. It is more flowing. If I take sensations, if I take emotions, if I take energy, the medium is different. Okay, these are the vital forces. They are flowing. When we go to the substance, the medium is different. This is more dense. Density, is both problematic, but the higher consciousness has a higher density. What they refer as a supramental substance has a greater density. Okay, which could be theory for us for now, but I'm just stating. Okay, now we are talking about matter and substance, and in that itself something pure. That's what, and it is there across your body. You don't have to get it point by point. Even if you get it in one location, it kinds of spreads across as a presence across the entire body. Okay.
I have
Yeah,
a question.
Yes, yes,
Actually, two questions.
yes.
Just clarify if my understanding is correct. Earlier, when you were talking about substance, you said it is outside, right? Now, this is a pure substance inside. So I assume that there is a supreme substance there,
Yes.
which is connecting to the inner substance, pure substance that we are as a being, everybody has. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So the supreme substance is the pure substance, which is inside you, which is also around you. It is also there in your aura region, for example.
Okay. Okay. But you were earlier talking about a substance that was like, everybody is connected.
Yeah, we are all connected. It's one substance and we are all connected.
That one substance, right?
Correct. That is the supreme substance.
That wholeness.
Yes.
Right.
That is a supreme substance.
That is a supreme substance. And what we have inside is a pure substance.
No, supreme substance is pure substance. We'll take it like that. When I say pure, which means uncontaminated. So that is pure substance. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there is both outside and inside here.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes the reason I'm saying is sometimes you will get that supreme substance or pure substance here, outside you.
Okay.
It can, if you see, it can, you will get it inside you. Sometimes you will feel it in another human being. But the very fact that you have felt it in another being, it'll open up inside you. See, I'll give you an example. Sometimes when I do these one-to-ones, I choose it very, very selective. And these are deep work. We sometimes meet for a couple of hours. Sometimes they don't get the method. I'll tell them, go inside and open it up, but they won't get the method. So occasionally what I do is, okay, put your hand on my hand and I'll do the process. For 2-3 minutes, I'll be doing the process. Then I'll ask them to do it for them, they'll get it. All my explanations won't work. Then I'll ask them, okay, put your hand here. And then I have to really concentrate and I have to do it. Then I ask them what they say. They'll say something, okay, now you do it. 95% of the time, I've seen a huge shift. Why? Because that's why I mean substance is one. That is what I'm saying is I learned because I did this work for others. And thus my body learned the process. So I did the reverse for me unconsciously. I didn't choose it like that. Okay. So you will get the pure substance anywhere. I'll give you more examples. You'll discover the substance in flowers. So I'm a Christian by birth, so every Sunday I take my mom to the church. And the Eucharist that they give, it has pure substance. You can feel the substance of Christ, for example. You can feel the substance of Mother and Shri Aurobindo, for example. So it is a world of magic which you should just be interested in. It will reveal itself to you. Okay. We can't use much of our logics here. It is a direct interest. It's what they call as knowledge by identity. It is a touch. We need to touch our pure substance with our concentration, interest, awareness, and inner senses. And then your life is not the same. And that's our attempt in some way.
Yeah, and that leads to my second question, which is
Yes.
like when you said that you touch and then it goes there. So for that, they need to allow.
Yes.
As you said, right? That
Yes.
we should allow it to come to us.
Yes, that's right.
And that allow can have choices or not. For example, like, can I allow only love, happiness, and joy and not anything else?
Yeah, we should come to that point. Yes, the cells have to choose. That is our attempt.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. This course is the first time we are doing like this. Normally from the first go, we go into experience. Then it's actually Shweta. Shweta told me like, look, you have to tell people more what you're doing. Every course I do differently. So what flows, and so this time is the attempt I'm making to really clarify what we are doing. Any other questions? We're almost at the end of our hour. Is that pure substance is conscious and able to respond when we are trying to connect to it? Yeah. The pure substance is more than conscious. It acts, but it requires our choice. See, remember, pure substance is divine, straight. Pure substance is divine, okay? But we need to choose, which means we need to remember. Another problem is remembering. We need to remember, we need to choose, we need to aspire. Then the link is made constantly. But even if link is made, it gets broken because of many kinds of patterns that are ingrained inside us. And then we have to move into practice. Okay. Yeah, those who want to leave, go ahead. Yeah.
Just a
Questions.
physical question for the requirements, right? Should we sit down or in the chair?
So I'll go through that. See every session, if possible. These are ideal. If possible, take a shower. Okay, if possible, and it's not mandatory. Like I have not taken a shower yet. To be open with you, it is useful. It gives you a certain presence. Second, definitely nobody should come inside your room. Because sometimes I see people are doing the sadhana and people are walking in and out. It disturbs the space. Just close your room and sit down. If possible, light a lamp. Okay, if possible, light a lamp and keep your centering on that. Okay, you can sit any way you want. Like I'm on the floor right now. You can sit on the chair, whatever gives you comfort. I would request you to keep the videos on as much as possible. The reason being, I support your process. See, I cannot know what you're doing unless I see you. Okay, my Zoom sensing is partial. It's 25% of what I can sense in person, but still it is reasonably okay. So what I do is, as I'm doing the process, I keep a notebook and pen here. So in between, I just come to everybody. I just wait with each person for 2-3 minutes. Most of the time, something tells, some intuition comes. I just write down, and during the week, I send them a voice note. This is if you want my support. in terms of some observation. If you don't want, you can switch off your. So if you keep your video on, I assume that you're asking for some support, and I'll two supports I'll give. I'll do the process for you also. Like I'll just, if we say connect your body to the above, I'll also connect to you and I'll connect your body to the above. And I'll take a round, one round normally. I'll just spend 2-3 minutes and whatever intuitions come, I write down. Okay. The other thing is you don't have to remember the process and don't get enamored by any step. There are only 2-3 steps. One is be inside the body. Always aim for the pure substance. Your awareness should be inside a divine quality. Otherwise, the process won't work. Maybe I'll explain that also. So, for example, you find two pictures behind me, right? You find two pictures behind me, right? You can see, right? Okay. No, huh? How is that possible? Can't you see? There are two pictures behind me. You can see, right?
Yes, you can see.
Okay. One is the Samadhi photo of Sri Aurobindo. See, these are my favorites. One is the Samadhi photo of Sri Aurobindo. The other is Mother. This is one of my big favorite photo. I like this. I like the balcony more than the Samadhi sometimes. This is Mother, standing there and giving darshan kind of a thing. You can use this as a source also. Morning, I do my exercise and my deeper body work for about 3 hours. These are my source points at that point of time. I simply connect to these two photographs, not mechanically. I connect into them, I'm connecting into the body and I do the exercise. So you need to be inside your body, but aiming for the pure substance or aiming for offering it, whichever is okay. And you need to put your awareness inside a source. I'm giving, see, it is 8 o'clock. If anybody wants to go, you can go. But I think I'm going to take 5-10 minutes more because I want to round this up. But if you want to go, carry on. Okay. So this is, I put my awareness through the photograph into that consciousness. I'll give you another example. This I picked up from the Ganges, some time back. It's just a small, you can call it a pebble or a rock. This is very helpful for sadhana for me because when you experience Ganges, it has a certain stillness, it has a certain rapidity. So many times in the morning, I'm doing my own sadhana. I connect to the stone with my hand. This is source for me now. I feel that, something pure there and I do the sadhana. So I'm giving you different examples, okay? Or if you light a flame, that flame, if you can concentrate, that flame becomes a source and you can be inside the body. Here we are using objects. Other ways, I can keep my awareness above my head, but it has to be real. So which means I feel the vastness, I feel the height. That can be the source. Or I can connect to the depth of my heart and I can do the sadhana. Or below the feet, if I feel something sacred, I can connect to that also and do the sadhana. So you need to always be inside the body, always connected to the source, and the link should occur. This is all your basic steps are. Rest of it, we can vary it. Today in 2025, we'll say something. 2030, we'll say something. 2035, we'll say something. All that is okay. But this is your main practice and this is what we're going to do. Okay, any questions? Okay. Yes, Ken, yeah. Oh, no, okay, all right.
I'm off, so thank you. It was wonderful.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So I think it was useful. This is not my style to speak this long, but I think it was useful to clarify. So next session onwards, we go deep. We won't speak like this. Any doubts, we'll take it on WhatsApp. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you,
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.